We've got a big one. The Season 3 iRacing update for 2021 is here. Even this text looks different because the forum got updated. We're going to just kind of skip down. You can read some of that if you want real quick, but this is just an overview, some highlights of what's in this update. But we're going to just get right into it, so we don't really need an update. So starting off with the iRacing UI section, find sessions for content. Each car and track info window now features a new tab, Find Sessions. To get to the car or track info window from anywhere in the UI, click the three dots icon next to a content and select Car Track Info. The tab is separated into 3 different sections, which will each display a list of all available sessions that use this piece of content. This includes official, hosted, and time attack. From that window, you can also browse all available sessions, navigate directly to the associated series to learn more, or even join the sessions right away. And you can select filters and tags to curate the list of available sessions to your taste. And it's available for all pieces of content, even the stuff that you don't have. So they say that it makes it very easy to learn how a piece of content is used before you purchase it, and allows you to jump right into events using a favorite piece of content. So that's pretty cool. Seamless, making things more seamless. So interface images. All images in the iRacing UI that previously showed a member's in-sim paint scheme will instead now show any available custom paints present on the file system. It applies to cars, suits, and helmets. It should work for members' own paints, as well as displaying other members' paints. For example, seeing another member's custom helmet on their profile. As a reminder, custom paints should be placed in the My Documents iRacing Paints folder. Just kind of telling you where everything goes. Car images will automatically be loaded when the iRacing UI launches. This should minimize the appearance of car images popping in when a large number are shown on the page at once. And then for series racing, fix an issue where the time of day setting was not being correctly preserved when creating test drive events or hosted sessions from a series event. Team Racing, for the Declare Drivers feature for events using the Drive Fair Share rules, teams may now update their pending declared drivers list prior to the start of the race session. Drivers in the list must still be team members that are eligible to drive. Declared drivers can only be altered for sessions which have not launched and are currently open for registration. This list cannot be changed for practice or hosted sessions or race sessions after the session starts. And any team admin or the team member who registered the team can update the list. For hosted racing, users now have the ability to select specific series branding for supported cars and tracks and hosted and league sessions. This can be configured by going to the race options, step of create a race, and selecting a series from the dropdown. Currently, the IMSA series branding is supported for this option on some of the P2, GTE, and GT3 class cars. For open practice only events, multiple setups may now be selected for use. For example, this allows users to select both qualify and race setups for practicing. Fixed an issue where users were unable to change the selected track for their session if they had enabled short parade laps prior to attempting to change the track. And filtering the available hosted sessions to achieve no results now correctly displays the warning no data. Some AI racing changes. Some additional race options have been added for AI racing. Short parade laps, wave arounds, do not count caution laps, and fix an issue where loading into an AI session using a default class-based opponent roster would break the loading screen. For the paint shop, textures for driver heads with ponytails have been updated. The McLaren MP430 interface model has been updated to better match the InSim version, and the Ryko logo has been updated. In general, fix an issue where users could load into an empty user interface. Member site, auto-launching the UI. The home page no longer half loads when you select to cancel opening the iRacing UI. And for promotions, fix the button layout issue. Don't know what's up there. Anyway, the forums. This looks different. New iRacing forums. All new posts, discussions, and announcements from iRacing will only be made in our new forums. The original member site forums will remain available through June 23rd, and then they will enter a read-only state for the foreseeable future. The private message system will also remain intact until further notice. I have a request. Can we get some more space on our PMs? Because we can't keep a whole lot of messages. It would be nice to have a little bit more. And then we will be providing an OAuth 2 API for third-party development in the near future. Alright, simulation. Connectivity improved the reporting and handling of dropped connections. These changes will not fix bad network connections, but the messages shown as a result of these changes may give a bit more detail as to what went wrong. In some situations, the amount of time it takes for a dropped connection to be cleared will be reduced so a user may be allowed to reconnect more quickly. That's nice. That doesn't happen to me often, but it does happen, and sometimes when you gotta wait for your throughput to hit, feels like you're sitting there forever. Cars. Up to 8 different car models may now be used when creating hosted sessions. Ooh, I think our demo derbies, when we get those going again, are going to get even crazier. Engine cooling has been adjusted to increase temperatures at lower engine RPM. Higher engine speeds are not impacted by this change. Tracks. All track collision meshes have been regenerated. A variety of visually updated tire stacks and tire wraps have been added throughout iRacing tracks. This rhyme was unintentional. Race control. A new mode of off-track detection has been created. For tire detection. Our current off-track detection system checks for whether or not half or more of your vehicle has traveled beyond a racing surface boundary. The new 4-tire detection system checks for whether or not all 4 of your vehicle tires have traveled beyond a racing surface boundary. Since the 4-tire detection system requires more of your vehicle to be off of the racing surface before administering a penalty, the system is more forgiving. The system will be deployed on a case-by-case basis. With this initial release, the 4-tire detection system is currently active at some areas of Spa, Red Bull, and Red Bull Ring. I thought there was going to be more tracks there, so only 2. Spa is a good one to have at because the off-tracks there are brutal. The 4-tire detection system will be applied to additional tracks and areas as we continue to collect feedback and data from our members. Any track that's utilizing the 4-tire detection system will feature a new rules tab in the InSim interface. This new tab will detail where the 4-tire detection system is active at the track. Fix an issue where closed pit exits could cause a black flag for drivers in a parade lap when the field starts in pit lane. Some dirt racing updates. Opponent tires on dirt surfaces should appear to be touching the ground better, particularly for slopes, bumps, and divots. All dirt versions of stock car tires have been reverted to an earlier version. This change affects the following. So the ARCA car, the Cup Series cars, trucks, the next gen NASCAR Cup cars, Xfinity cars, the older Cup cars, the Nationwide car, the old truck, and the old Xfinity cars. Rallycross. Fix an issue where the high RPM... Sorry. I kind of spaced out. Fix an issue where the high RPM launch rev limit in the Rallycross cars would prevent the gearbox from downshifting lower than 3rd gear when stationary. Alright, so AI drivers are now able to pilot the following vehicles. So the Porsche 911 GT3R Street Stock. iRacing is now available on the following additional tracks. So Lanier Asphalt, Lime Rock. So it looks like, I guess, all of Lime Rock, maybe. Lucas Oil, the Oval. Okayama International, the short version. Oran Park, all except the North B. Can't be racing on the North B. Alton Park, all of it. Red Bull Ring, all of it except the North. South Boston, Southern National, Summit Point, all except for the Oval and the School. Thompson Speedway, Tsukuba, all of it. AI drivers have improved their racing techniques with the following cars: the GT3, GT4 cars, NASCAR Cup cars, the Spec Racer, the Skip B. AI drivers have improved their racing skills at the following tracks: so Lime Rock, Long Beach, and Okayama. AI drivers have completed specialized quarterly curriculum classes. Turn 1, horror stories on what you can learn. Alex Foster's guide to pit stall entry and exit. How I learned to stop worrying and love the parade lap. I like that reference. The sides of your car and the things that are there. A 2021 treatise on lateral perception. Handle with care, preventing rollovers at low track temperatures. 3 essential steps for recovering your race line. Locating pit lane entry and exits in the wild. Translating track corners to wheel rotation. They get creative with some of these, so that's funny. AI vehicle parameters have been updated to improve their correlation to a user vehicle for the following vehicles. NASCAR Cup cars. There we go. Race admins. A new race admin command has been added that can modify the number of laps a caution or parade will be. Okay. So add plus n laps to caution length or remove, which is minus n laps from caution length, or set caution to n laps to green at next crossing. The caution lap length can't be adjusted until the first full caution lap is completed, since the caution length is not finalized until then. The number of parade laps can be adjusted immediately, just as cars start driving. This is nice. And then exclamation mark yellow is primarily intended for throwing a caution, but can still be used to delay an upcoming restart. Okay. Alright, that's pretty cool. So I think some tracks, I don't know, I think like in leagues, a lot of times for me, the short yellows on the big tracks, the 2 mile and larger ovals, the short yellows are a nice idea, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes it should be just the normal length. And then some places, it feels like Iowa and like Richmond, it feels like they have an extra pace lap. So it'd be nice to kind of, I don't know, cut that down if we could. Or just have the option. That's really cool. All right, new damage model. The new damage model has been enabled for the following vehicles: Formula V, Streets, and the Street Stock. The way they do these, they got bullet points, but they they break it up. The duration during which detached parts from opponent vehicles are collidable has been shortened significantly. This should help reduce the possibility of hitting debris generated from local estimates of collision damage in a high latency environment. The duration for yourself and your own car parts has not been reduced. Tire sidewall properties for some vehicles have been adjusted to differ from tire tread properties. These changes should allow more realistic tire to object and tire to contact based on the part of the tires making contact. These tire property changes have been enabled for the following vehicles: Arca car, the Audi RS3 LMS, the IR18, the Indy Pro 2000, and the Skippy. Fixed an issue where some cars are getting repeatedly reset in the pits and appear to be bouncing around as a result, which they said they had fixed before, and I hadn't seen the issue since, but somebody said that they still saw it. But I don't know. Hopefully now it's finally fixed for good for everybody. When a spring damper was broken, it was possible the wheel would hit the hyperextension limit if it was set fairly low. Whenever the hyperextension limit was exceeded, the code was resetting the car while in the pits without fixing the hyperextension, resulting in a bouncing reset loop. Some curbs used on rallycross tracks have been updated to prevent devastating blows to cars utilizing the new damage model. Original damage model. Fix an issue where vehicles that have the capability to run the new damage model were not having damage scrape textures appear when running with the original damage model. Rendering. Fix an issue where specular highlights were not rendering brightly enough, especially on the track surfaces and cars. Fix an issue where the illumination of the world often flickered in brightness as the sun moved, especially during sunsets. I've kind of run into that. I know some other people have too, so that's nice. Visual effects. Smoke may no longer be disabled via the graphics options. Tire smoke and dust have received an overhaul. So smoke and dust volumes and sizes have been tuned based on the moisture levels in the environment. Smoke blending has been improved. More lingering dust should be visible towards the end of a dust cloud's life cycle. Dust particle volume has been increased during dirt racing events. So I like the sound of all that. Spark effects have been updated. Backfire and exhaust effects have been optimized. The average track temperature for generating heat haze has been updated to utilize data from the dynamic track system. I don't use heat haze. I think it's too much. I wish there was a slider. iRacing, could we get a slider? Because I like heat haze. I just feel like it's a little overdone. Like it's just a notch too high. I wish it could be brought down just a little bit. Water shaders have been updated for more realistic behaviors, including slower speeds along the shores and improved roughness. Water reflections have also been improved. And fix an issue where smoke effects are not appearing for the player car during lone qualify sessions. Audio. Road debris, sound levels, and variations have been improved. Pace car. The sedan pace car may now be selected for use at any and all track types. The pace car driver has completed a rigorous course in stunt driving. It's passed all final exam maneuvers of flying colors. Okay, so the pace car drivers are now less apt to drive through solid walls. I've seen that happen a lot. It's always funny. Okay, fix an issue where the sedan pace car's headlights would be incorrectly lit while parked at night tracks, and backfire effects have been removed from the sedan pace car. Sad cry face. The Italian spotter packs have been updated thanks to Renzo A. Olivieri and Marco Arcidiacono. I butchered that. Sorry. Cameras. More camera tool controls can now be mapped to an analog axis on the joystick. That's something I need to look into so I can use my Xbox controller for some things. In replay, not for racing. The show camera mode is no longer persistent and will now turn itself off on the next restart of the sim. Blimp camera option minimum allowable values have been reduced to nearly 0. Fix an issue with camera's aim at group logic that could sometimes cause the camera to shake or stutter. Controls joystick calibration routines have been updated, so all control types should be able to calibrate, including combined pedals that operate in the opposite direction of the industry norm. Mapping separate functions to each half of a joystick's axis should be greatly improved as well. Support for the display on the new Thrustmaster SF1000 wheels when enabled. You can turn it on and off with the control LCD wheel displays checkbox in the Sim Options menu. Tire data is not sent to the wheel, other than core temperatures and wear being updated when you stop in your pit box. This matches the rest of the sim, where no real-time tire info is displayed. To make it work, you'll need the latest version of the Thrustmaster driver. There it is right there. And you'll need to update your drivers and firmware. Logitech keyboard backlight support has been re-enabled. You'll need the latest version of G-Hub or Logitech gaming software. Support has been added for the Razer Chroma RGB controller and other Chroma Link enabled devices, and the Razer Chroma keyboard lighting effects. Can we get one for Corsair? I don't know what the deal is, but I have a big, nice, beautiful light up keyboard. And I know Logitech and stuff, you can sync them to where it'll change the color of the keyboard to the flags. But I would like to do that with my Corsair. So I don't know if that can be done. Maybe it just can't be done with these keyboards, but that would be nice. Fix an issue where the second brake and second throttle controls are disabled for some vehicles, and fix an issue where some analog controls can never achieve a zero input value. Telemetry, a new session string value. Car class estimated lap times when added. This value indicates the estimated lap time for every car in the session. This value matches the existing value. Driver car estimated lap time entry for the player's car. So new telemetry values: car ID, X faster pair used, and player faster pairs used have been added. These values log how many faster pairs each participant has used in the current session. These only report on sessions where there is a limit. ABS brake engagement is now logged to telemetry as the Boolean brake ABS active. This value is true if either the car physics ABS is active or the driving aid ABS is active. The car physics ABS now drives the LFE base shaker just like the driving aid did previously. It's currently only available on the following vehicles. There's a lot of them. I won't read them all. They're on the screen. You could pause. Alright, simulator performance meters will now be displayed via telemetry. So FPS, CPU usage, GPU usage, channel latency, channel quality, CPU usage background, channel clock skew, memory page fault, and steering wheel torque. Find more information on these values here. New telemetry messages have been added or have been enabled that allow a remote program to start stop video capture and take screenshots. New telemetry value, vidcap enabled. That is true if the video screenshot system is enabled. And new telemetry value, vidcap active. That is true if the video system is currently recording a video to disk. Fix an issue with variable car ID X peer-to-peer status for all 64 entries were not showing up correctly. And screenshots. For taking watermark screenshots, the backspace key is now accepted as a substitute for the keypad enter key for users working on a laptop without easy access to the number pad. Yeah, we're still going. But we're getting to some of the juicy stuff now, too. A lot of that stuff up there is pretty dry, but there's some good things. So, cars. The ARCA car. For the new damage model, the tire sidewall properties have been adjusted to differ from tire tread properties. These changes should allow more realistic tire-to-object and tire-to-tire contact based on the part of tires making contact. Hopefully this helps when you pancake the wall, your car doesn't go up on two wheels and usually break suspension, and I don't know. For the new damage models, we've been over this about the hyperextension limits have been changed. iRacing setups have been updated. For the Audi R8 LMS, vehicle weight has been increased by 10 kilograms. And then there's, I don't know, they do a lot of small changes to these cars, like every time. So you've got some camber limits that have been adjusted. Steering rate speeds have been increased. Aerodynamic properties adjusted. Fix an issue with the ABS. Adjusting pedal feedback. Adjusted parameters on the front collision of the vehicle. iRacing setups have been updated. That's pretty much how it is for everything. But the Audi RS3 new damage model, it's the same as the ARCA car. Tire sidewall properties have been adjusted. And for the new damage model, longitudinal wheel strengths have been increased slightly. So, BMW M4 GT3 prototype. This one has a lot going on. Some car physics adjustments have been made with the help of a real world driver. So there's a lot going on there. And you can read the screen. I'm looking to see if there's anything of note that looks very important. It has an audio overhaul, so new sound for the engine, gears, ignition, transmission, turbo, and rev limiter. Some IMSA decal updates and iRacing setups. That's going to be on all of these for the new season. M4 GT4 adjusted some collision parameters, iRacing setups. The BMW M8 tire parameters. Oh, it's even bigger, boy. 20 kilograms heavier. Tire wear rate has been reduced. Aero drag increased. The Cadillac tire spec has been updated. The Corvette C8R minimum weight has been reduced by 15 kilograms. So it went on a little diet. It's like just like all the cars in this class might have had some tire wear rate reduced. In-car engine sounds have been improved. So again, there's usually a lot more accompanied to these, so you can read them on the screen if you want as I scroll down. Chevy Monte Carlo SS pit stop refueling now uses 2 cans instead of 4. iRacing setups updated. Dallara F3. For the new damage model, damage textures, decals, and visual effects have been updated. And vehicle stability has been improved with upgraded mount hinges, brake limits, and yield limits. Fix an issue where backfire effects for appearing in the wrong location. The Dallara IR01. General stuff, tire parameters, compounds been updated. Aero calculator is now available for this vehicle. The Dallara IR18. It's the same for the tire sidewall properties, are different from the tire tread properties. Wheel mount properties have been updated for the Dallara P217. iRacing setups, a dirt midget, tire compound, and tread pattern updated. Vehicle weight distribution has been adjusted. Dirt modified. Opponent vehicle properties have been adjusted for an improved correlation with the car. The dirt sprint cars, this again updates. I'll just go through and read off ones that anything that looks of note here. So the dirt modified. All chassis changes have been reverted to 2021 Season 1 versions while maintaining tire updates. Ferrari 488 GT3 backfire effects have been improved. It's got a lot of the camber ranges that have been changed, and some of the other cars are changed on this one. The 488 GTE tire parameters updated, tire wear rate reduced. Oh, the Ford Fiesta Rallycross car mirror tethers have been added. Ford GTE, you got anything? Tire wear rate reduced. Caster adjustment limits standardized. Suspension geometry updated. Some of these I've seen before. The Ferrari yaw independent aerodynamic side forces have been adjusted. For the Ford GT2, it looks to be... Oh, and GT3. Packer gaps have been adjusted to prevent the front tires from protruding through the fenders. Same for camber ranges. The final drive has been shortened. Fuel consumption rate has been reduced to suit. Formula Renault 2.0 tire spec updated. Tire wear rate reduced significantly. Minimum PSI has been increased. Formula Renault 3.5 packer thickness has been unified for all wing angles. Looks like we get the first big one. New car, the Formula V. That's a free car. We revealed it on April Fool's Day 2021, but it's no joke. One of the most legendary junior open-wheel racing formulas is indeed a part of iRacing. The Formula V is based on the stock parts of a pre-1963 Volkswagen Beetle, combining them with a tube-frame chassis and fiberglass or carbon fiber open-wheel body. Part of the SCCA runoff since 1964, the cars have also proven highly popular around the world, with iconic names from Niki Lauda to KK Rosberg starting their careers in these venerable machines. The Formula V has been added as part of the iRacing membership default content, so it's free, and it has the new damage model. Global MX-5. Sequential shifter has been added. I was wondering when we were going to get that, because this car, I think, has had it for a while now. I know H-pattern is fun, but this car, I don't think they've used the H-pattern for a couple of years. Visual display has been updated to better match the real-world car, including a pit speed limiter. Downshift blips have been adjusted. And pit speed limiter now correctly only works while in first, neutral, or reverse. Indy Pro 2000, same for the tire sidewall properties. For the new damage model, the suspension damage limits have been increased to prevent breakage while using oval setups. For the Lambo Huracan, vehicle weight, oh, heavy boy, 5 kilograms added on. And everything else seems to be the same as a lot of the other cars in its class. Lotus 49 setups. Lotus 79 Auto Blit has been updated to use more revs. Pro 4 truck setups updated. McLaren 570S GT4 added some collision parameters to the front portions. McLaren, the MP412C GT3 got 10 kilograms heavier. All the other things look to be the same as the other cars in class. The AMG GT3, its weight is the same, but spring perch adjustment increment has been set to 0.5 millimeters. And handling has been updated slightly with adjustments to anti-dive and anti-lift suspension geometry. Everything else looks pretty much the same. Modified SK fueling procedure has been updated to be more accurate to the real world. Backfire effects have been updated. For the 87 Monte Carlo engine braking has been adjusted. Brake parameters have been adjusted. Aerodynamic properties based on damage states have been adjusted. Drafting parameters adjusted. Stagger parameters adjusted. Vehicle setup adjustment ranges adjusted. Fixed an issue where force feedback could cause shakes at low speeds, and some setups rotated. So the Thunderbird's probably going to be the same. They did announce that they were going to be changing these cars quite a bit because apparently they said they were too loose. And after talking to some people that worked on them and looking at a lot of onboard footage, they determined these cars should be absolute dump trucks. So don't be surprised next time you get in this car and it just plows everywhere. For the Cup cars, let's see, tire properties have been updated from when this car is running on dirt. Engine braking adjusted for all of them. Aerodynamics and drafting properties have been adjusted. I don't know if this is specifically for the plate track. I know in real life, these cars have changed the spacer, or the hole on the tapered spacer smaller, and they're removing the wicker from the spoiler. They're trying to slow the cars down, something like 7 miles an hour. And that might be iRacing going ahead and updating them in the sim. I don't know. That could be just at every track, but that might be Super Speedway specific. Yeah, for the 87 Thunderbird, everything that the Monte Carlo had. For the trucks, iRacing setups adjusted. Next gen cars getting some adjustments. Engine braking adjusted. Tire parameters updated. Drafting parameters updated. Fuel amount and tow adjustment compliance have been updated. Improved gear shift audio levels and some setups are updated. Those are all 3 of them. For the current Xfinity cars, adjusted the garage arrangement for right rear coil bind and range has been increased. The Porsche, the 718 Cayman GT4 has been made 15 kilograms heavier. Alright, so for the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup, an engine restrictor will now be in place while this car is running at Le Mans and Daytona on the road course. Tire parameters, fine-tune the aerodynamic model so roll and yaw effects are more accurate and have greater effect on side forces and the center of pressure. The aerodynamic drag has been reduced to improved real-world correlation. Front tender springs have been removed, so the car now runs on single coil springs at all 4 corners. Dampers have been tuned. Differential has been tuned. Tow adjustment increment has been adjusted to allow more fine-tuned adjustments. Rear suspension has been adjusted to reduce bump steer. And for the original damage model, rear wing damage now increases aerodynamic drag until the wing comes off. If the wing is removed, aerodynamic drag decreases. The downforce loss due to rear wing damage has also been increased to discourage intentional removal of the wing and fix an issue that could cause pedals to vibrate constantly when driving the car. Alright, another new car, Porsche 911 GT3R. GT3s have proven to be some of the most popular road racing cars in the world in recent years, and few brands have quite the road racing pedigree of Porsche. It should stand as no surprise, then, that the Porsche 911 GT3R is both a beloved and successful piece of kit. Immediately successful out of the gate thanks to a win in its first attempt at the Bathurst 12-hour, you can find the 911 GT3R running at the front of the field everywhere, from the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship to the Intercontinental GT Challenge. The 4-liter flat 6 boxer engine produces a whopping 543 horsepower, more than enough to propel you at the front of the pack or into the Armco. Porsche 911 RSR shift lights have been updated. Hardware supported shift lights updated. Suspension geometry updated. Again, there's a lot going on these cars, so I'm trying to just point out the highlights for them. Radical SRA aerodynamic draft effects have been significantly reduced. That's going to make our radical lobbies probably not as fun. The roof RT12R fixed an issue with rattling brake pedals. Alright, the SCCA Spec Racer Ford has gotten a full update to the Gen 3 version. Includes a new tire spec, new digital dashboard, increased horsepower, reduced vehicle weight, and a 6-speed sequential gearbox. Yeah, they got like a whole thing on here. Let's see if there's anything that stands out. And I've been reading all these, but y'all are probably getting tired of me. It's a pretty good read though. And it remains free. So 105 horsepower, top speed of 135. It's got a 1.9 liter 4-cylinder Ford engine with a 5-speed transmission. That was the old one. That's what I get for not reading the whole the whole paragraph. Anyway, you can read this paragraph. It's a very storied little car. Skippy, new damage model, tires, sidewall proper. Okay, same as the other ones. Street stock, new damage model has been enabled. I thought it was enabled. I don't remember them taking the new damage model off of the street stock, but I guess they did. For the Subaru WRX Rallycross car, mirror tethers added. Super late model pit stop refueling now uses 2 cans instead of 4. Steering wheel stitching, textures, and ambient occlusion maps have been updated. Fixed an inconsistency with the appearance of the left front wheel on support on opponent vehicles, not support vehicles. But USF 2000 for the new damage model, suspension damage limits have been increased to prevent breakage while using oval setups. Same with the VW Beetle Rallycross car, got some mirror tethers. VW Beetle Light, another free car, new Rallycross car, little buggy that packs a big punch. Beetle Light's engine's been reduced to 300 horsepower to enable drivers to learn the skills that make them quick and rallycross without being overpowered by the turbo power of the supercar. And it's got a retro form that pays homage to the original Volkswagen Type 1. And it is free, so there you go, a free car. Now on the tracks, this will be the last part of the update. They always do the tracks last. For Imola, gain time checkpoints have been added to prevent cutting the chicane. Some track limits have been relaxed slightly in heavily contested areas. Bristol Dirt camera set has been updated. Chicago Street Circuit, the visibility of the turn 10 exit outer wall is improved. Visibility of turn 7 has been improved. Brake markers have been updated. Some tire stacks updated. Some track seams have been stitched up. Track cameras updated. Catalunya for Rallycross, the start finish has been updated. Adjusted the specular texture map on the timing tower. So for Spa, some gain time checkpoints have been added. Some track limits have been slightly relaxed in heavily contested areas. And of course the 4-tire detection system that we went over earlier. Belt Isle water depth mapping has been improved for increased resolution. Hockenheim, some gain time checkpoints have been added to the drag strip area to prevent any advantage during qualifying. Lankabannen, I don't know how to say that. I've even only loaded into the track one time. Some gain time checkpoints have been added to prevent course cutting, patch some seams. Vegas, track surface properties have been updated slightly. Lime Rock, patch some seams around the track. Long Beach, fixed the draw order for all fence tarps. That's good. I noticed in replays if you're on a camera and there's a car between the tarp and the camera, the tarps that are, this is what I'm guessing, the black tarps on the wall. I guess they're black from behind, but that's how I usually see them. You can see the car through it in like a weird kind of trippy way. That was really strange. I guess they fixed that. Martinsville, track surface properties have been adjusted. All right, new track, Nashville Super Speedway. New concrete oval, Nashville Super Speedway is now available. In 2001, national level NASCAR racing returned to Nashville when the 1.33333333 mile Nashville Superspeedway opened and played host to what are now known as the Xfinity and Camping World Truck Series. Over its first decade, the track became a staple of the schedule for both of the series, expanding each to 2 events while also adding IndyCar for the first 8 years of its existence. However, without a NASCAR date on the calendar, 2011 proved to be the track's final season, and it was shut down after choosing not to seek NASCAR sanction for 2012. How times have changed. In June 2020, NASCAR awarded Nashville Superspeedway a Cup Series date for 2021, effectively bringing the track back to life. So for the first time, it'll host all 3 national NASCAR series in June 2021. Like Dover, its sister track, Nashville features a concrete surface that will present a unique challenge to the many real-world racing stars who will take it on for the first time. Alright, Pocono track surface parameters adjusted. Here we go. New track, Red Bull Ring. New asphalt road course, Red Bull Ring. I love this track in the F1 games, so hopefully it's just as good on iRacing. Red Bull Ring features 3 configurations, Grand Prix, National, and North. The Red Bull Ring's origins date back to 1969 when the Österreich Ring opened to replace the Zeltweg. I don't know. I took German. You think I could like pronounce some of this stuff? I know it's Austrian, but Airfield is host of the Austrian Grand Prix and attempt to draw the Drivers' World Championship back to the country. That mission was successful just 1 year later, and the event became a staple of the series until 1987. The track was completely rebuilt in the mid-90s and rechristened the A1 Ring, which enabled it to return to the circuit from 97 to 2003. After a period of uncertainty that followed the demolition of the grandstands and pit buildings in 2004, circuit owner Red Bull began its reconstruction of the track in late 2008 and gradually added both modern and vintage events over the years, culminating in the return of the Austrian Grand Prix in 2014. In 2020, with the demonetized word forcing a rework of the schedule, the Red Bull Ring became the first circuit to ever host back-to-back rounds to open a Formula One season, as well as the first European venue to host the opening round of the season since 1966, and the 4 tire detection systems available for this track. Road America. Gain time checkpoints have been adjusted near the end of turn 5 to prevent taking an extremely wide entry for an advantage. Silverstone. Gain time checkpoints leading to the final corner have been updated. And for Legacy Phoenix, for the Rallycross version, gain time checkpoints have been updated to prevent course cutting. And that is the end. This was the big update. This is what I've been training for with all these little patch note videos. For the new content, I don't know if I will be going through and making a video on each piece, because that would be a lot of spam. So if there's something in particular that you want to see a more in-depth look, from, just let me know and I will do it. So yeah, if anything on there you want to see more of, let me know and I will make that happen. All right. Well, this is the biggest update in a while. There's a lot in this one. Some good stuff too. So yes, please leave a like if you don't mind. Maybe a comment, say hi, some opinions on some of the things and some stuff you still would like to see them work on and improve or add. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. So please like, favorite, subscribe, and take it easy.